All right, next question here. Steve Bishop 3796. Eric, it seems like your channel and really most others focus on a retiree living in the USA during retirement. I am planning to split my time 70-30 in another country, which has much lower healthcare costs and lower costs of living. It would be nice to hear you speak to these strategies because it can really impact one's ability to retire early and better. DM me if you want more info, and I'll give you some data based on my own plan. It can really help many who haven't considered retiring abroad. First, thank you for the offer. That's a very generous thing to do. For compliance purposes, probably won't be able to do that, but I hear the spirit of what you're asking. It's a really good comment. The question undergirding this is, how does spending part of retirement abroad change the amount someone needs to retire? But really also, why aren't we addressing it on YouTube? So I'll just address both. Candidly, on YouTube, we're trying to appeal to the commonalities across the most people. So it's very, very hard to do living abroad simulations because it's so different and so complicated across many, many countries that exist. It's, where are you going? All the different countries in Europe have different tax treaties with the United States. For example, in Italy, I just know this from a specific client case. In Italy, they do not give Roth treatment to Roth accounts. Other European countries might. I actually don't know right now off of hand, but like that's its own issue. Italy has its own tax treaty about how the U.S. sources of income are taxed if you're a permanent resident in Italy but a U.S. citizen. Other countries in Europe have their own complexities that all go around this. So the truth is, you could never show it on YouTube as a broadly applicable system unless every person who wants to explore living abroad wants to live in the one country or the one city that is being described in the case. And that is just it's too niche, unfortunately. Now, can businesses like mine handle that type of case? Absolutely. Many financial planning and retirement income planning businesses will build out expertise over time on certain live abroad strategies and end up being able to give good recommendations. So it's certainly not a barrier to actually getting the information you need. It's just why is it not on YouTube? That's the reason. And then the second question is, how does spending part of retirement abroad change the amount someone needs to retire? That's not the question you asked, but that is a good question to kind of talk through. And the answer is, it's actually kind of not as simple as it might appear. Yes, you might have lower costs in some ways, but you might pay more tax. You might have, like, France has this really interesting layers of tax on property owned and capital gains generated, like a whole different way of calculating. And so just because things appear cheaper from a cost of living standpoint doesn't actually mean that we will have more quote unquote net spendable money that generates a higher quality of life. Now, it is entirely possible. I think the international living arbitrage play is totally viable. I would say I'm not an expert personally. Members of my team have more expertise on this than I do. But it's not entirely clear, and it should be evaluated. And it can be evaluated by just adding line item expenses that simulate taxes in other countries, that simulate the changes, but it requires its own level of due diligence and research. We have to factor in other things like cost of travel, cost of maintaining two places of living, tax arbitrage, as I've already kind of spent a bunch of time talking about. So it's worth considering for some people, and for other people, it may not be. Candidly, retirement kind of forks into a bunch of different paths. Some people accumulate wealth in order to buy themselves flexibility, and they're willing to pay a price for that. And that's totally fine. They're willing to pay more. They want to think less. That is totally cool. And then some people want to find arbitrage opportunities everywhere they can. And that is also totally your right. It's your money. You've earned it. You have a right to determine what course you want to take with it. Tie it back. But the fact of the matter is it's too small of an applicable cohort to make videos on YouTube about it, and too specific. So a good question though, Steve Bishop. I hope you enjoy living abroad. You can totally send a message and let me know, or make a comment. Where are you living? How are you enjoying it? How are you finding it as you go through it? How many years do you think you would enjoy it before settling in one place? Maybe never settling, but it's a fun adventure. Real quick, let me show you the exact 3-pillar comprehensive retirement roadmap that takes retirees from uncertainty to peace of mind that less than 1% of retirees actually have in place. Now, I've built hundreds of these for retirees, and I can say with a high degree of confidence that these are the 3 pillars every retiree needs to have in place in order to have full confidence that they're not missing anything in their retirement plan. And I broke each of these down by the specific questions. You can see them here that each needs to be answered and the best way to answer them. Now, we've done this across pre-retirees, recent retirees, married couples, single retirees, $1 million portfolios, $10 million portfolios, all the above, and it works. And it's my gift to you today. It's absolutely free. It's in the first link in the description below this video. It's going to say free comprehensive retirement roadmap training. Just click the link, enter your info, and you'll get instant access all for free.